Hello, this is R J Dent in my library, and today's author that I'm going to be looking at is Angela Carter, as promised a few episodes ago. So the her first novel was called Honey Buzzard, and here we have an original Pan Books edition of it with quite a gruesome cover. It was later changed to Shadow Dance, the title. And here is the Virago Press version of Shadow Dance. An interesting first novel. Her second novel, The Magic Toy Shop, which was made into a BBC television film, which is available actually. It's not on DVD yet, but you can find it online, and it's very interesting. Contains all of the motifs that Angela Carter became famous or infamous for. The next novel of hers is Several Perceptions. That's an interesting one, as is Heroes and Villains. And by now she was starting to use the fantasy and science fiction tropes that she became very famous for. The next one is Love. That's quite a good one. This one definitely very science fiction-y. The Infernal Design Machines of Dr. Hoffman, futuristic, and sort of the first of the sort of feminist war scenarios begin to crop up in her work. We then have I've got a hardback edition of that same novel. We then have her Hollywood story, The Passion of New Eve. Very good, very funny. Nights at the Circus, the one that introduced Feathers, the main circus acrobat. Sorry. Another very funny and amusing one. Wise Children, her actor theatre twin story, which was one of my favourites. And then that's her novel, and then we move on to the short stories. Her Fireworks collection, which was subtitled 9 Profane Pieces. Very good. The one that everyone knows her for, really, The Bloody Chamber, which is her sort of feminist, modernist, postmodernist rewriting of fairy stories. I've got another copy of that for some reason with the orchid cover, the phallic orchid cover. Black Venus, another collection of short stories there, including her story about Edgar Allan Poe and about Charles Baudelaire's mistress, Jeannie Duval. American Ghosts and Old World Wonders, another good one there. Very interesting collection. And then the Burning Your Boats, the complete short stories of or collected short stories, sorry, of Angela Carter there, with an introduction by Salman Rushdie. This was a rare one. Come Unto These Yellow Sands, a collection, 4 radio plays. Yeah, some of her works and stories, she rewrote them as radio plays, and they're all collected in there. Her collected dramatic works, which includes the radio plays in the issue you've just the publication you've just looked at, but also this includes her screenplays for The Company of Wolves, Magic Toy Shop, and various others. The Christchurch Murders, which had a very similar theme to Peter Jackson's Heavenly Creatures, about the Parker Hume matricide that took place in Christchurch in New Zealand. That was a very good one. And then we have some non-fiction. We have her study of the Sardian, or the Sardian woman, an essay on basically the sadistic impulse in a lot of people. Nothing Sacred. This is selected writings. This is journalism introductions, and various other pieces, newspaper articles, short essays. We've got Expletives Deleted, again, which is another series of essays and articles. And then there are a few that she edited. We've got Wayward Girls and Wicked Women, which is just now, as it says on the front there, an anthology of stories edited by Angela Carter, and these are gathered from around the world, these stories. And she also, as you know from her interest in fairy stories, we've got the Virago Book of Fairy Tales, edited by Angela Carter, with an introduction by her, and the second Virago Book of Fairy Tales. These are all from around the world. And then what's not known, of course, so much about Angela Carter's children's stories. And not only did she do translations and so on and so forth, but she also did some children's stories. So we've got The Sea Cat and the Dragon King, which is a nice story. We've got The Donkey Prince, which is a rare one. We've got Comic and Curious Cats, written by Carter and illustrated by Martin Lehman. And then we've got Sleeping Beauty and Other Fairy Tales, chosen and translated by Angela Carter and illustrated by Michael Foreman. Now, as you can see, that's and this is quite a rare one, difficult to get hold of. And then finally, I've got Lorna Sage's edition of her edited version of Flesh and a Mirror. So the essays on Angela Carter's writing, all been compiled and put in this book and edited by Lorna Sage, and it's a very interesting study of Angela Carter. And that is my Angela Carter collection.